Welcome to the It's Time to Sell podcast with your host, Chris Spurvey. Chris is dedicated to mentoring entrepreneurs and sales professionals through the fear of selling so they can confidently bring their product or service to market. Here's your host, Chris Spurvey.
Welcome to the It's Time to Sell podcast, Moran. It's great to have you on.
Thank you very much for having me, Chris. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is awesome. You're another great guest to come to my show through Interview Connections. My good friend Jessica Rhodes' company, and she's referred a lot of great guests to my show. How long have you been doing the podcast?
I think that's my third month.
Okay.
Where I'm just like out there, putting myself out there, trying to kind of like, I guess, build the personal brand a little bit.
Of course.
I figured out that's going to help me build some more deal flow for the deals that I'm looking for. So yeah, whatever it takes, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that in and of itself is a great angle to talk about, because I'm I deal a lot with the human to human sales angle of business, and but I also I guess preach, if you want to call it that, because I really believe all entrepreneurs need to be out there growing their personal brands, and that's great to see you're getting yourself out there. Why don't we start off by you telling the audience about yourself, like bring us back to how you got started in this direction you're in right now.
Yeah, so I'll keep it short. I've been involved in different businesses over the last 11 years now. I started businesses from scratch, and then I pretty much realized that I don't like to be the day-to-day manager of businesses. I'm not really good at it as well, and I just figured out, and it's funny how I even figured out and got to this world. I watched TV shows like Shark Tank and The Profit, if you're familiar with.
Yes.
Did you hear about those?
Oh, absolutely.
Probably, yeah. And yeah, the Dragons then for the Canadian or UK version. So I watched those TV shows, and I remember managing a business, just running a business, my own business day to day, and thinking, hey, I don't want to do that. I made a lot of money, but I realized I don't care how much money I'm making from that business. I just don't enjoy my day to day. And I remember looking at TV shows like Shark Tank and Profit, and just thinking, hey, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be the shareholder, the main shareholder, the owner. I want to share my advice and knowledge, but I don't want to deal with the day-to-day repeatable menial tasks. I want to call the big shots, if that makes sense. I want to take care of the overall strategy of the business versus the day-to-day, and that's what led me to what I'm doing right now. Obviously, I've been through a lot, and I met a lot of great mentors. But now my day-to-day is I'm out there looking to buy businesses as an investor. We're looking at deals all over the world, anywhere from the UK, US, Canada, Australia. Those are our main ones. But I mean, I'm happy to look at deals literally anywhere. I looked at deals and negotiated with companies in Spain, Poland, Mexico, South Africa. So, and obviously Israel, which is where I'm from. So, any deal is a good deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you decided to, I guess, get out of the actual day-to-day business operations because it was kind of task-oriented and having to deal with, I guess, the ups and downs of the day-to-day business, and getting more into the high-level stuff and investing in multiple businesses. So are you, I guess, a shareholder in multiple businesses right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. And by the way, you're the first guest I think that I've had. I think I may have had one other guest on my podcast from Israel, so this is exciting to talk to someone. The technology is amazing.
I'm Israeli, I'm from Israel, born and raised, but in the last 7 years, I didn't really have a home for more than 4 months. So I've been all over the place. It's now actually the first time that I'm staying for more than 5 months in one place, which is Israel. I'm just a bit tired of traveling, so it's the first time I actually have a home
yeah, exactly.
for a while, so that's cool.
Yeah. So before we hit record, I expressed to you that a lot of the people who are listening to this podcast, many of them are solopreneurs, consultants. I guess the broad umbrella of entrepreneur, but I find I do attract people that are very much in startup mode, and they know they're an entrepreneur and they want to try something, So what are the options from your perspective as a new entrepreneur? What should a new entrepreneur choose to do if they want to become a business owner?
Yeah, and I could just, I guess, share my advice and my experience.
Yeah.
I've been in that place actually where I kind of like one of my businesses, which is the business I just mentioned. I just didn't work on that business anymore. I decided to close it for whatever reasons. And I had a period where I'm like, okay, what I'm doing with my life right now. And what I did was kind of a consulting, but I took equity for my value and services. And I think that's a big lessons that I learned, and it took me some time. But one of my mentors is always saying that you only build wealth by having equity in multiple transactions. Most people out there, they're focusing on just one business. That's their whole life. And if that business is going down, they have nothing. I have another mentor who's actually one of the accountability tasks that I had with him is basically calculate your personal balance sheet, but don't include your business as part of that, of those assets that you own, because like I said, business can go up and down, and the best time to sell a business is now. No matter what you're telling yourself, that's probably the best thing to do. I learned those things in the hard way, just from businesses going down. And what I realized is that if I really want to build wealth, I need to have equity in multiple businesses, and that's what I tried to do back then as kind of like a consultant that just went out there, offered value, and got equity in return for his services versus just a flat fee.
Yeah. What do you say? I think that's phenomenal advice. What do you say about the person who, their passion is their business, and like if I look at me right now with the growing of my personal brand, I'm really passionate about helping entrepreneurs become successful in the area of sales, human-to-human selling, and personal branding. So when I look at my business, what that has done is I've written books now on the subject. I speak. How do you become less emotionally attached to the actual business, such that you're spreading yourself out amongst multiple businesses? Any ideas on that?
Yeah, great question. So, and obviously your personal brand, it's not really a business you can sell, right? If all the businesses depend on you.
Yeah.
But what I suggest to do, and again, all those things I learned from people who are, some of them literally billionaires right now. And what I learned from them is that even if they have one main business, they always took money and invested it somewhere else. Just because, again, you never know when your business is going to go up or down.
Yes.
And I don't care what market you're in or what sector you're in. The economy, things will go down eventually. If you're going to stay in the business for 10, 20 years, something will happen that is not in your control.
Yes.
And you want all the time to at least take some money away from the business, because most people, especially solopreneurs, they're making some money and they're investing everything back into the business. So what I suggest is just take part of it and invest it somewhere else, either in a new business or in maybe real estate or whatever works for you.
Yeah, phenomenal advice. How about, I understand that you've done some work with apps and different things like that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so one of the companies that I bought an app company that wasn't successful, and it became really successful. It got to a point where it's in the top 100 apps overall in the App Store.
Wow! Congratulations.
Yeah, it was. Thank you. It's not anymore. It's not there anymore. But it used to make a lot of money, and it was a great little business that I learned a lot from. I think the biggest lesson that I learned, which I already said, is no matter what you think your business is. Here's the thing: if you think that your business is going to make money forever, or let's say you have a contract with a specific client that is supposedly going to stay for 2-3 more years, that's the exact reason you need to sell that business, because that's something you can sell to a potential buyer and tell him, hey, here's the potential for your business, here's the certainty for income. Because like I said, you can never know what happens. One of my mentors, he had AIG as client, and he had contracts with them for like 3 years in advance, but then AIG get bankrupt, right?
Yeah.
And that they were one of the biggest companies out there.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to my app. The reason I'm saying that's what happened to my app. One day, Apple just came and basically told me, hey, sorry, you can't upload that app anymore because we came with our own version. And basically everything, all the revenues from a lot of money it's all got down to zero, literally in one day. And I learned the hard way. That if you can get yourself into a point where you're having capital events, do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's awesome. How do you approach finding these deals of companies to buy? Do you have multiple people looking out for you? Do you just put yourself out there as a business person who is an investor? How do you do that?
Yeah, so all of those things. In the end of the day, it's like when you start a business, you need to start with marketing or advertising campaigns, right? Build yourself your own funnel of people who come in as prospects, and some of them will become clients. Same goes here. You go out there, you put yourself as much as possible, and you're just creating marketing campaigns, basically, as someone who's looking to buy businesses, anywhere from social to offline to any option out there right now to just put yourself out there if it's going to events, and obviously have other people who's doing those things for you. So all of the above is just a matter of putting yourself out there as much as possible, and you will get tons of deal flow. Some of them you could close, and some of them not. The same ways as when you try to get a new client. The only difference is that here one deal is at least personally I think that getting one deal is much better than just getting one client, and that's why I try to focus on this at least.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, it's certainly it seems like it's a mindset. You're expressing yourself and I'm listening to you, and what I'm hearing from you is that you have a mindset towards business that is at the investor level versus the day-to-day level is what I'm feeling, and I think that's a wonderful mindset. You know, how do you think you came upon that? Was it through the mentorship?
All of those things, yeah. Just realizing that that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you see, look at all the richest people out there right now. Like, just take some of the people on Shark Tank, like Mark Cuban, for example. He's not running his day-to-day businesses. He got other people who obviously are his partners. He's helping them with his advice, his resources, sometimes his money, and he's taking a great upside from those businesses are going to be successful. So, and I agree with you. Mindset, I think it's crucial for success in anything. I think Tony Robbins said it, that 80% of success is mindset and only 20% is the actual strategies. And I agree with that 100%. I think our mental toughness and mindset and habits and all those things are more important than anything.
Absolutely, yeah. The name of my book is "It's Time to Sell: Cultivating the Sales Mindset," and I use the analogy in my book of the iceberg, whereby 90% of the iceberg is under the water, and that's really the mindset, you know.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so how have you approached sales? Has sales been? And when I think of your story of sales, I guess what I'm feeling is that you must be a masterful negotiator. Is that a focus of yours?
100%. But I think something that I learned over the years is that the best way to get a deal going or to close a sale or however you want to call it is just by literally figuring out the other side, just making sure you understand what their needs are, what they need, what their problems are.
Absolutely.
And if you find a way to basically to give them good answers on those problems, on those challenges, then you find a way to make it a win-win. I think the only way to get a deal going is to have a win-win scenario. I think that's at least my main focus when I talk to anyone in the world. You know, I try to add as much value as I can, and if it makes sense to the other side, then awesome, let's do it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's wonderful advice. Yeah, no one ever wins in a win-lose or a lose-win scenario, and that's how you tarnish your reputation, over time, right? And it's like the great boomerang of life; it'll come back to haunt you at some point in time, right, or hit you in the back of the neck, right?
yeah, exactly. If not for that, do it just for the karma, for the good karma out there.
Yeah, you got it.
Yep.
So what types of businesses do you currently own? And what's your portfolio look like? Is it a diversity of businesses?
It is. Like we're looking to buy literally any type of business. I don't care. Like my expertise and background is mostly e-commerce, marketing. Now we're dealing with even distribution and manufacturing. And I mean, I'm talking to businesses right now, negotiating with businesses in the engineering and even in Canada. I just talked yesterday with a business that's drilling for, I don't even know what they're looking for. I don't think for oil and gas, but for something like that I didn't even understood 100%. So in the end of the day, for me, at least right now, it comes down to, first of all, understanding the numbers and making sure the numbers make sense. And if they make sense, then it's all about, basically, for me, in the end of the day, I think business, it's a very simple but not easy thing. I think in the end of the day, though, business comes down to making sure more money is coming in than money going out. And I try to focus on that at least. I obviously need experts in the industries that I want to get in, but it's not something that I personally, at least, want to focus on too much.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us about the concept of OPM. This is something I caught in your bio. How do you buy a multi-million-dollar business using OPM? Tell us about that.
Yeah, great question. So, in the end of the day, again, I want to give another example. Nowadays, if you look at the biggest companies in the world, take, I don't know, Facebook, for example, the best way for them to grow is by acquisitions, by buying other companies. That's the only fastest way for them to do it, to meet their shareholders' demands, because it's really hard to do it only organically. And organically, I mean just internally with sales and marketing and introducing more products. So, for example, that's what they're buying. That's why they're buying WhatsApp and Instagram and all those. And what I'm trying to say is the way that they're buying companies is many times using other people's money, which is, in their case, the public money. So same goes with the private, smaller world. You can go out there and buy companies by, the way I basically do this is we leverage the business assets to finance the acquisition costs. That's the simplest way to put it. We just use any institution out there who could provide us that capital, and we leverage the business that we want to buy. Many times they have assets like inventory, receivables, real estate, cash, all that stuff. We use those assets to find financing, and that's how we buy those businesses.
Gotcha. Now, so what if the actual assets themselves are already used as leverage within the business? And I guess that's a part of your exploratory. It's
part of the due diligence. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's fascinating. Yeah. That's a whole level of business that I'm not. It's not that I'm foreign to it, but. It obviously requires how many deals do you have in your funnel, or do you put in your funnel for every one that you close? I'm curious. I'm assuming you got a lot of deals in the funnel, and you only close a fraction of them. Hey.
Yeah, 100%. I think you need to talk to at least 100 to do at least 100 good conversations.
Yeah.
And that's with people who I'm not talking 100 emails that I send to potential random companies, right? I'm talking legit conversations to maybe close one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that due diligence is so important. Do you have a template or an approach to due diligence that you kind of follow? And do you have advisors who help you with this stuff?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, there are basic criteria that I look for, but then in the end of the day, even after I agreed with the owner to buy his business, there's an exclusivity period of at least anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks where my accountants, my lawyers are going out there to actually do the actual legal and finance and due diligence. And that's where basically we're just checking listings. But advisors, 100%. That every business you want to buy, you got to use at least, if you're not a lawyer or accountant yourself, you want those to be on your dream team. You want people who are experts in the sector or in the field to be on your team as well, if you're not one.
Yes.
So those are the basic people that you need with you. 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. It sounds like mentors have played a big role in your life. How have you found these mentors?
Yeah, so anywhere from just paying people. I think I spent more than 6 figures in the last 12 months alone on just different mentors.
Yeah.
Some of them are just people that I reached out directly, took to a lunch or dinner and since had relationships with. People who are very powerful people. Some of them are partners in venture capital firms, or people who had background as being CEOs of public companies or head of M&As of public companies. M&As is mergers and acquisitions.
Yes.
So any way possible, to be honest. I was just thinking to myself, okay, this is what I wanted to do. Who can I find who already done that? And let's do whatever he's telling me. I don't know if I can curse here, but yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do whatever he's telling me, and let's just follow his path. Because and obviously I try to add value to all of those people.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have? Do you have suggestions on how the people listening can go about finding good mentors? I mean, it sounds to me like you take a very proactive approach, but like, do you find these people through personal networking, or do you leverage, say, LinkedIn to find people? I'm just curious how you do that.
So all those, I can tell you, let me give you an example for one of my mentors that I'm working with right now. He's a person who, so here's the thing. I went to this event. It's kind of like just a mastermind or a course, however you want to call it. I paid for it to learn some new things about business. In that event, one of the speakers was a partner in a venture capital firm.
Yeah.
I invited him to a lunch. In that lunch, we realized that there's nothing that I can really help with, but he basically introduced me to this other partner of him, which is also a partner in a venture capital firm, and I invited him to lunch. And since then, we try to meet as much as possible. I try to add as much value as I can to him, and I can because I have experience or expertise in business, which can help some of the businesses he's investing in. So I think the best thing for anyone who want to just reach out to people is, first of all, just have some kind of a skill set. If you're good at anything, you could find people you could help with. Like, I know people who are videographers who just can edit great video, who got themselves in front of amazing people just because they needed some video work or documentary or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And offer your work for free, literally. I mean, some of the knowledge or access to people that you can get just by helping someone else, I mean, it's invaluable.
Outstanding advice. Yeah, that's an excellent way to get in front of people and bring value to them, and then obviously as you get to know, like, and trust them, or they get to know, like, and trust you, they'll start to throw golden nuggets your way, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what's your vision for the future? Like, where do you see all this going? What are you looking to achieve through all of this?
It's an interesting question. I see people like Marcus Lemonis, who's running the Profit. I see people like Richard Branson. I think those are kind of like the people that I aim to be at least close to their level. I mean, they're involved in many businesses, and that's kind of like where I try to move towards to. I think the business that I'm in, or what they're doing, is the perfect business for people who are ADD a little bit, people who just want to be involved in many things at once.
Yes.
Which for me is just fun. I like it because I can be involved in many industries and sectors and learn about new things all the time. And I see them. I mean, some of those people, Richard Branson, I think he owns more than 300 companies. Marcus Lemonis as well. I think like a few hundreds as well.
Yeah.
I see them. I'm like, yep, that's where I'm aiming towards. But in the end of the day, I think it all comes down to just find a way or your purpose today, like enjoy your today, and everything else will fall to place.
Yeah, I love that advice. I mean, and just to dig a little deeper on that, I'm curious because I mean, if I peel back the layers of my motivation and my drive, it's there's a family behind me, and I, my wife and 2 children, and I guess on some levels, at a subconscious level, I'm trying to be a great example to my family and to my children, and so the vision I have for my life is obviously to grow that family and to support my children and that sort of stuff. Do you have a drive deeper than the wealth? And I know you do. It's kind of a leading question, I suppose.
Yeah, 100%. So, first of all, it's what you just said. It's family.
Yeah.
It's especially helping my mom. But in the end of it, I think it all comes down to helping. If you're going to focus on something behind yourself, that's where you're going to find your biggest motivation. If you're only going to focus on yourself, how can you be more successful? How can you make more money? It's not going to drive you to wake up in the morning as much as if you're doing this for someone else.
Yes.
I think another good drive, and that's something I heard from Darren Hardy from Success Magazine.
Yeah.
He's talking about, so you need to have, so there's few ways to find your motivation. You need to have, so it's either who, which we just talked about, but it can be also the how. So find a way to just enjoy how you're doing things, and find a way in kind of like the expressions of your work. I think that's very, very good as well. And I think he had another thing, but I don't remember. But I think those two are really, really good ones. Just find a way to enjoy, to find your purpose in, first of all, why you're doing it and who you're doing it and how you're doing it.
Yeah,
those kind of things.
That's phenomenal advice. And so what's your definition of happiness, and how? I'm curious. How do you maintain a level of happiness in your life? Through the ups and downs of deal making.
Yeah, that's a very. We can talk about those things for hours now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing tons of things. Like really, I have a lot of time focused on mindset and that world of happiness. I think in the end of the day, it really comes down to a lot of it comes down to gratitude, just being really grateful for what you already have. And anyone can achieve that in a second if you just realize, just imagine all the things that you appreciate for a second. Just close your eyes and imagine if all those things are gone, like everything, all your friends, family, things you own, your senses. Just imagine that for a second, and I don't believe anyone can open in his eyes and not be grateful. So all those small little daily rituals, tons of other things, but I think that's a really, really main one.
Yeah, gratitude is. I devoted a whole chapter in my book to gratitude. I'm feeling like I need to send you a copy of my book because
I'd love to check it out.
Yeah. This has been awesome, Moran. How can people get to learn more about you and learn more from you? Do you have a means for them to follow you?
Yeah, just feel free to. I have a website and all that stuff, but if you have a specific question, just feel free to email me. It's moran@abdassets.com, and I'm happy to get back to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great, and I'll include in the show notes that email address along with your website and your other social links as well. I know you're on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook, so we'll be sure.
Yeah, all those things. Yeah.
Yeah. This has been a really rich episode. I'm sure we could have went down a number of the angles and went deeper, but I thought this has been really good and a lot of fun, and I think you bring a unique I guess angle to the show, so I'm really grateful for you taking the time.
Thank you very much. I had a great time, Chris. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Thanks for listening to the It's Time to Sell podcast at chrisspurvey.com.